Goes. You are alive.
I think we are good to go. We refresh here. We are live. Well, Hello everybody. This is the Invincible stream where we're going to basically talk about everything from the comic run and as well as the Amazon Prime TV series. I'm sure a lot of people got hooked on early. I'm Hayden, aka the Gen Collector, and we have also
Yusa from Ting Comics. This was a fun idea to have Invincible live because I was thinking that no one else likes Invincible as much as I, but then I met Hayden and this is the end result.
Yes. And see, we got Richard. Richard, what's going on, man?
Hi, Richard.
But yes, this is an international affair. We have me in the States. We have Yusa all the way over in Finland right now, where it is currently 11 p.m. So
going the night, but it's fun stuff. So why not?
Exactly. But I guess to get started, we'll talk a little bit what got us into the series, why we like it so much. I probably like a majority of the people nowadays. I actually got in through the Amazon Prime TV show. I got little snippets and clips of it on my phone, just going through social media. I saw some pretty crazy stuff, and then once I saw that, I had to give it a try. And once I watched the first season, I was hooked. And at that point, I really wasn't even into collecting at all. So I really attribute a lot of this series to me getting into comic book collecting. So my current situation with this, I'm trying to fill the entire run. I'm about 20 issues away from that. So hopefully by the end of the year, I can close that down to around 10 to 5. And then hopefully next year, finish it off and get the ever elusive Invincible #1. But that's just kind of how I got in the series. Now I'll pass it off to my co-host here to explain how he got into it.
So yeah, I was early on in the Invincible. I was waiting the series when I heard that it's coming out. First, I got into Invincible. I was reading Kirkman's Astounding Wolfman, and in there was a crossover story with Invincible. Two issues, and I was thinking that what's this character, because I haven't read Image that much. It was like 10 years ago, 11, 12, and I was thinking that we're gonna find this, and okay, it wasn't easy to find these in Finland. I haven't got the singles. I've been trying to collect them, but it's slow going. But luckily, they just put out a couple of years ago the compendiums, so I went with those, and I was a happy camper to have them.
Yeah, so,
Richard.
So it is very hard for him to find. Actually, just recently, I sent over a couple of the single issues to him. I think they're currently stuck in customs right now, or is it the local post office?
Post office. They've been there like 1 week. They came from the States in a week, and now they've been stuck in Finnish postal office for 1 week, and they just haven't got around to send them.
Yeah, but I'm making sure whenever I see him out in the wild, I let him know I'll start collecting them up and send them over to him to help him out. To help spread the love. Nice. But he still has all the compendiums, the omnis, whatever.
Yeah,
they like to call them different things in Image World. So he actually has the whole series in front of him. I only have all my single issues. I'm so close to having the whole run that I figured I might as well just not get the omnis. But I guess we can just go from here, talk about whatever topics we want. I have plenty of books to show, plenty of storylines to talk about, favorite characters to discuss.
I think that we should start with your 5 favorite covers of Invincible, and I will try to show mine from those compendiums because they are there. But
gotcha.
Yeah,
well, I got them all picked out here. I do not have my favorite cover of all time. That is one of the issues I'm looking for. And I'll go ahead. I pulled it up, screenshotted a photo here, but it's actually number 12 is my personal favorite. I do not own it. I wish to. This awesome cover. And if anyone who's seen the series, if you haven't seen the series, minor spoiler warning, but this is the issue where he asks Mark, what will you have after 500 years? And his response is, I'll have you, Dad. So fitting for today, it being Father's Day. Very good father-son moment there. But that's my all-time. Go ahead.
The beatdown episode. The first beatdown.
Yeah, and the ever so eclipsed memed Think Mark Think comes from that issue right there. But honorable mention, well, this is, I guess you could say, my number 6. This is Invincible number 95. Let me try to get that without the glare. It's a great, this is actually Robot and Monster Girl from the series when they were grown up on the Flaxen planet. They spend some time there. I won't get into the storyline details of that, but it's a really cool cover with them on the planet later in the series. One of the few issues actually doesn't have, one of your main cast members, Invincible, Mark Grayson, or Omni-Man on the cover. So really enjoyed that one. But cracking into the top 5, this is a spoiler warning, so everybody be aware. It's very late in the series, issue 129. We have this really cool Thrash. One of the really big bads. He's the Emperor of the Viltrum Empire in the show. It's a really cool cover here near the end of the series. Him being very imposing. One of the best Thrag covers. In the Invincible series, it's kind of funny that, like in Marvel Comics, Doom covers usually always demand a premium if they're a key or not. That's basically the same thing in this series when it comes to this guy right here, from what I've seen at least. Let's see here. Number 4, we have, the Flaxen storyline later in the series is awesome. But number 4, we actually have Invincible number 51. This is the first cover appearance of Mark Grayson in his blue suit with Kid Omni-Man, his little brother right there. And this cover is actually by Jim Lee, of all people. It's one of the few covers in the series that isn't by one of the original creators, Corey Walker or Ryan Ottley. So you just
brought one of my favorite covers because of Jim Lee, and that cover, that's an absolutely beautiful cover. I love the blue suit and the brother there, and Jim Lee. What not to like?
Exactly. Yeah. So I didn't even figure out until recently that this was Jim Lee. I was on my Jim Lee kick, and I actually found this one super neat. Next up, number 3. It might be a little cliche, but we have the issue 144. This is the last issue in the entire series. Just a really cool kind of conclusion cover. I really love the colors. The red and the tan really work well. All the different characters at the very end. So really glad to have this one. I actually had doubles. I just sold my double of it. Very sad. Number 2, I really like the covers that are just like it has one character on it. And this is just one of those that is, I think, is so cool. Issue 111, 111.
The robots.
Yeah, the robot cover. There's about 3 issues in a row that all have robot on the cover. In this line, it's 112 and 113 as well. And this is one I just absolutely love so much.
Wasn't that cover that you recently bought? Did you get it recently?
So I got this one as a double. So I had another one. Yeah. And then this one ended up being a higher grade, so I kept this one and sold the other one.
Okay.
But number 1 is the issue I have 2 of. I mean, I think there's nothing about this issue that demands a premium other than for being so amazing. We have issue number 115, the Solo Battle Beast cover.
Yeah. That's a beautiful one.
This one signed right above me, wherever it is.
Yeah.
And 9.8 signed by the author or the artist.
It's next to Tyler Kirkman battle variant cover.
Yes, that's another really cool one. Richard, it is and the parts that aren't are really good because they cut out a lot of the filler stories, the like single issue kind of, all right, they go and do this one mission that's never talked about again, doesn't build on anything. So they cut out a lot of the fluff, update some character designs. There's very minor changes, but the overarching stories really sticks to the source material. And there's plenty of shots throughout the show that are direct panels from the comic book. So it's really cool.
And as Hayden said, that there is like a couple of characters that have been left out, but it doesn't matter because they aren't there like all the time. So it's easy to left them out and maybe bring them on a bigger situations that might be coming. So
yeah, and a lot of it I feel like will have to do with licensing. So like one character that a lot of people know from the Image universe that appears in the background a lot is Savage Dragon. He's actually in the background. He's even on some of the covers of a lot of issues. But obviously, I'm not sure how the rights to that work, so I'm not sure if he'll appear in the series. There's a couple other characters that might be like that I'm not entirely sure who owns the rights to them or how that'll all work. So, but yes, those are my top 5 covers. What's going on?
Hello, Mr. Akins. It's a nice shirt, ain't it?
Yeah, it's nothing like this one, but you can actually get this one on Amazon. It's not the official Skybound merch, but it's, just say if you want to save $1, go to Amazon. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if you had any of your covers ready, but
I have. Luckily, you showed 2 of mine. That Battle Beast one and the Jim Lee cover. Then I have to mention, I think that you have to show the cover because I don't have it. You have it. It's that Tyler Kirkham variant. That's my it's my honorable mention because I just love it.
Yep. This one. So they did these on Whatnot. Well, you can see it on the back here. Is whenever I want to say this might have been like one of the first Whatnot exclusives. When these came out, they had a bunch of different versions. They had they had a foil titled one, and then a Virgin variant. Upon the time it was coming out, there were some astronomical prices.
But... and then there's the Omni and Adam Eve cover done by Tyler Kirkham, same way.
Yep, and they definitely still. They don't go for as much as they did, but boy oh boy, when they first came out, multiple sales for $1,000 for the foil one. It was unreal.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to find those, but the prices are so up there that I think that it will take time to get those. But maybe someday. But okay, that was my honorable mention, and then the Battle Beast cover that Hayden just showed, and then I have to say that the first cover that I was really wowed of because I started reading Invincible because of the Astounding Wolfman. So the first cover that I ever saw, and now I'm getting it. It's good to think that the spoiler warning is there because there might be some story also showing. But I love this cover.
Yeah, that is a very good one. It's so good that I have 2 of them. See it? Let's see here. Yeah, this is the one he's talking about.
Yeah, and as Ben Aubrey is saying that he's working his way through the compendiums for the first time, and he's on issue 65. So
you just met the main man Conquest then. You just got out of a lot of deep stuff there. So it doesn't stop. I will warn you, it does not stop. So
no, it just gets better and better and better and whole lot gorier.
Yeah, I would say it's that 60s part of the series. It's really where it starts to ramp up. Like it's nonstop story arcs back to back to back. So you're in for a good ride because I feel like that once you get to that, it's nothing but up from there.
Yeah, and then one of my favorite covers is there's not Invincible on it. There's not any big characters, but I just love this cover. 83. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, that one. I think I got that one here. I can help show off.
I think that the cover is just awesome looking. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, and a lot. I mean, which is really neat. I don't know many stories, if anyone else in the chat knows, or any series where the entirety of the run is a single artist doing the interiors and the covers.
Yeah.
I don't know many other series like that. I know obviously there's, like Stanley Jack Kirby combos.
Yeah.
Claremont and John Byrne, or Claremont and Barry Windsor Smith, and there's all these other possible combos, but it is definitely kind of remarkable that one man can do that for. I mean, this series went on for many years. So,
and my last cover is also from near to the end. It's 128. Alan the Alien
that
cover.
is such a great cover. Yeah, it's very ominous, not like Alan, which is
yeah. I like the way that he's bloodied and something is going to happen, but you cannot know. I think that it would have been awesome to see that cover on a local comic book store when it came out and see, okay, what the hell is this? It's part of my friends.
Yes, I would definitely recommend it. Oh, there we go. Definitely, I would give the show a watch first. It gets up to issue number 50. And if you like it there, then I think it's worth to go back and read everything. It's very true to the material. So, I mean, there's exact panel shots throughout the story. So, I would definitely give it at least a try first on Amazon.
But yeah, I think that it's worth the watch before you dive into the comics, because it's easier to know that if you like the show, you are going to like this comic also, because it's not worth to buy one book, or because there is always story going on, and you can check if you like the stuff, if you like the content, what they are doing in Invincible through the show.
Yep. And the first episode of the show, I mean, it's definitely meant to keep you hooked, get you hooked on the first episode. They speed a lot of stuff up to get to that point, but all around, I mean, the first episode usually gets a lot of people hooked on it. But
yeah, so, and the last episode of the first season, it's you are just waiting what's next. When does the second season start?
Ben, I have 20 issues left, and it's essentially I'm missing 33, 21, and then 19 down, except for one issue, which I guess I can go ahead and showcase, is issue number 6. This is my lowest issue that I have. I got this one for, I think, $60 and a 9.4, which, I mean, if you get it raw, I mean, you're going to usually be paying more. So if I find slabs in the 9s, the low 9s, I usually pick them up.
Yeah, that's a great price for those like under 10 or even under 20 of those Invincibles, because
oh yeah, I mean,
I've been eyeing those lower ones, and usually they are 100 or over on a raw format. So yeah, that's a great price.
Because with the thing about Invincible, that if you're going into collecting it, when it first started, the print counts are very low. I mean, for a series that now has an Amazon, it's on Amazon. The first 12 issues, a majority of them have print counts under 6,000, which is very scarce. And then even later in the series, there's many that have under, once it gained popularity, enough to get 100 plus issues. They were under 10, 9, 8,000. Some as being as low as under
and that's
4. So.
Yeah, and that's the reason why those Invincible #1s, the reprints, are so up high there on prices, because the original prints were so low, and now they have done the reprints, but they've all gone, so the prices are going up on those also. So
yeah, Ben, I feel you. I'm also working on an ASM run. Both of these runs together hurt very much, the wallet, but it's also a thing that I kind of made a small stack here for, is that another thing that makes the series is different from big picture corporate side of things, is that this series didn't have a lot of variant covers. Obviously, like with a lot of modern books and series nowadays, they have a billion variant covers. For this series, they did not. It was slim and far between. I think the only issue where they made a lot of different variant covers was issue 100, and it was a milestone issue. And they had guest artists like Art Adams came and did a cover, I believe. Trying to think, they made a few for 100.
I think that there is like 4 to 5 covers for the 100.
Yep. So a lot of the variants that you see out there now, they're all recent, like con exclusive stuff, not a part of the original run.
So I bought those Tyler Kirkman
for example,
covers.
This is one of the more popular variant covers. GalaxyCon, I believe it says convention exclusive on there. So yeah, this is one that you'll see quite a bit. I really don't even remember who did this cover, but so that's usually one. One from the original series that they did. This issue actually came out on April Fool's Day. This is issue 135. There, it's on the bottom. And not on April Fool's Day, they did a Invincible issue alongside the original. I actually have this one signed by Ryan Ottley.
Is that an Ottley cover? Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then there's another variant of this variant that's like a sketch cover that I don't know too much about. But yeah, this is, I don't know, I think it's really funny to have an April Fool's Day variant in a series. Then this is a first issue in the last 12 issue arc of the series. They actually did an homage to Youngblood, which is the first ever issue of an Image comic publication. It's really funny. I know this will get a lot of people riled up, but where Ryan Ottley has his signature, it also says after Rob Liefeld. So
no feet on the cover.
Oh yeah, you're right. Actually, there is not a single foot to be seen on this cover. That's pretty funny. And then speaking of issue #1, this is my favorite version of it. So there's an original one, and then this is called the Chrominium variant. There's actually a wrapper on cover.
I absolutely love those dinosaur covers with the dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, his are always really great.
They are awesome covers. Yeah, and the original cover for that, it's just beautiful thing, even though it's not that. What is the chromium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at the inside of it. You can see a reflection in it. But that, and then I think it's funny that for those of you who partake in Key Collector, they claim that there's more issues of this variant than there is the cover A, which I don't believe it.
Oh, I haven't seen that
issue in the series. Yeah, this is 144. It's the last issue in the series, which is really cool that obviously Ryan Ottley did the cover A, and this is a variant by Corey Walker, who's the original the first artist on the series. And that's, for those who are wondering, that is Invincible's daughter.
So, a spoiler alert. Spoiler warning.
Yeah.
Ben, I feel you. It's not easy in Finland because here isn't any shops. There is only like secondhand shops, and usually the collection for those second-hand subs, they are pretty scarce, and the condition might be awful sometimes. So yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not too much better in the States either. A lot of people with the show coming out figured out what it is. I was only very recently lucky to where I found a shop that had all their back issues were $4 a piece. And I got just all the late issues that are pretty expensive for that much. So that was really awesome. But that does not happen often. I rarely find shops with them. If I do, it's the issues in the middle or wherever no one cares about, and they're usually marked at $10. It's not too fun to collect. The way I really did it in the beginning was buying big bulk. By bulk, I mean like someone would sell a lot, and I try to get it under like $4 a book, and that's how I got a bunch of them. But I guess we'll really get into some spoiler territory here.
I think that
I don't know if you want to go over some of your favorite parts of the series. I got a couple issues.
We can dive into that, because I think that spoiler warning should be there all the time, because now that I've been thinking that everything that I'm going to say is some kind of a spoiler, either for the series or the comic.
All right. Well, I'll let you take it away here on this segment.
Yeah. Okay. So we were talking with Hayden before this show started, and I was saying that I am really waiting for that legendary Anissa happening. I don't know if I can say it here, but it's like, can I say it in YouTube? I don't know.
Well, whenever it involves some 18 plus content, and it was not it was not wanting to be received.
Yeah, XXX stuff. So, but I'm waiting that for the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the character in question, and then this is the issue that happens in.
Yeah. So Anissa is a Wildromite who just came to the show on the last season, and the happening in question is, it's an awful thing, but I think that for the rest of the story, or the storyline for Invincible, it's a needed one, because without that, I don't think that the story would have gone the way it went.
Yeah, because obviously something that big affects a lot of people. Not just the victim involved in the person who did the thing. It involves everybody around them. It affects everything. It changes how people act in certain situations, changes decisions they make. So yeah, that's definitely a big one.
And of course, one of my biggest favorites is, spoilers, the Wildromite War, the coming Wildromite War, and the last or the battle with Battle Beast and Drac.
Oh yeah, that is definitely. I'm trying to think. There was some analogy that I had that represents it. It's super cool. If I can, I think I have that issue. I can find it, but yeah, that is definitely one of my. Oh. Yeah, I know it's that issue one. I think it's 120. I believe it might be 119 and 120. But one thing that I hope that comes into the show, it's very minor. So for the uninitiated, the first, debatably, there's a ton of first previews when it comes to this show. There's some in Noble Causes. I think there's a preview of Invincible, or a cameo of him. And there's, I think, in a G.I. Joe book, there's a preview of Invincible. But the main one that people talk about is Tech Jacket #1, also by Robert Kirkman.
This is a quite big spoiler from what's to come. And Ben, if you are reading, I don't know if you want to watch this because you're reading the Omnis, and 65 is just a number you are going, but the track Battle Beast that I'm talking about, this is this is a spread. So I'm just gonna show you, and if you don't want to see, close your eyes or something.
Yeah, it's it's pretty intense, but two, that's something the series does not lack is great full page spreads. I have an issue here that has some awesome ones, but one of the things that I was just mentioning. So this is issue number 71. This is very minor spoilers, not anything crazy. So when it comes to the Viltrumite War, like any battle, you got to recruit some people to your side. And like I said, that first preview of Tech Jacket had Invincible in it. And it's pretty funny that in this series, when they're going around trying to recruit people, they go and recruit Tech Jacket, of all people. It's pretty funny that he explains that, they ask him, like, are you like some sort of superhero? He's like, well, not really. I really help only during like big team up events or galactic stuff. So they built in an excuse why he hasn't been around for any of the other terrible things that have been happening. But he is a member of the Viltrumite War. Super cool. That's one of the issues I'm looking out for is his first appearance, because it's also like the first preview of Invincible. But super neat issues. It's the first time he shows up in the series.
And of course, I have to mention that you were already showing that Robot and Monster Girl cover. So I have to mention the Robot and Monster Girl story in Flaxen. And what does it lead to? Because it leads to some bad things.
Yeah, that's something that I really hope that they delve into. Give it more than just an episode to build it out.
Yeah,
that's
I think
it's a really intriguing storyline to see what, because those who've seen the series of Flash and Planet, time passes very differently there. So you can go there and be there for an hour on Earth time, but there it's however many years. So it really fleshes out the question: what would happen if you were there for centuries upon centuries and you don't age? So is a very cool part. Is there anything that I did not like? Well, in the comics, I will say, kind of like the progression of the story. The first 12 issues is amazing, and then there's kind of a lull between the aftermath of that until the next big arc. It's kind of a bunch of one-off issues that aren't very good. There's a lot of bouncing back and forth. I would say that's probably the biggest low light of that. And in terms of everything else, there's a very part of the series that a lot of people I can see do not like, and it's kind of the character progression of the main character, which I have a defense against it. So the main character, he's very indecisive, I guess you could say, because he'll make a statement like, I am no longer going to kill anybody or something like that. And then he'll do it a couple more times. There's always but this situation warrants it or something like that. Or he makes a decision on one thing and then completely flips on it, which if you look at it very literally, you can say, oh, that's just bad writing or whatever. I think it makes him very realistic. That's the way I like to interpret it. That's why I like him so much, because I think he puts him – a lot of people can put himself in his shoes to where, you can say you're going to be true to your word and do a lot of things, but when very crazy one-off, very extreme circumstances happen, you're going to break a lot of your things you said you would never do. So I can see a lot of people not liking that aspect, but it's one of those things to where I think this story, it has a great ending. Like, it knew when it was going to end, how it was going to end. It leaves nothing in question. You feel satisfied when it's over. So I don't have a whole lot to complain.
I think that, in my opinion, in the comics there are those couple of issues after 12 that were like, okay, this is that, and nothing's really happening. But all in all, the comic series is great. I read it I don't know, 6 or 7 times, and it always just flows through. And but in the series, I think that Mark's first girlfriend, Amber.
Yeah.
I don't mind that they change her. I don't know. She was in the comics. She was white, and now she's African American. So I don't. That's not a problem for me. But I think that in the series they are dragging the relationships too long, because in the comics it was much faster. It wasn't that a long relationship as it was in the TV series. I think that's the only thing that I haven't really liked.
Yeah, they tried to do a better job in the second season of the show to make her more likable. Because in the first season, I mean, no one liked her. I mean, she was. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that didn't make a whole lot of sense about her. No, she was very unlikable, which they did a lot better job in the second season, where you at least like her a little bit. But
and in the second season, when I was getting into her, and I was like, yeah, okay, she's a good character, and then came the breakup, and after the breakup, or in the comics, you don't much see her anymore. So I think that I don't know what they are going to do in the series, but I think that there isn't going to be many episodes for her anymore. So
yeah, I think so too. But in terms of just all around, my favorite. I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite, but I'll go ahead and say it is. My favorite issue in the series is issue number 75. This is sort of, I guess you could say, the climax of the Viltrumite War, kind of smack in the middle of the series. There's this much going for us. They've rallied their forces, ready to take everybody into battle, and this full-page spread of this team is incredible. You have everybody from Tech Jacket to Omni-Man and Invincible, Alan, Battle Beast, Oliver Grayson, the whole squadron. Am I missing anybody? Oh, and the Rider. But that's not the only full-page spread. This issue is, I think it's a double-sized issue, but it is insane. Let me see if I can find the second full-page spread. There's obviously lots of dialogue, lots of important characters, or stuff's happening.
I have.
Oh, this is another great shot right here.
Yeah, and I have the next one for that same episode. Yeah.
It's literally it's 3 full-page spreads back to back.
Yeah.
Just to kind of to show the magnitude. Oh, I make that wrong. There's another full-page spread. It's insane. 4 full-page spreads back to back, and then another full-page spread. I mean, what more could you want if you're an art enthusiast of a series? This one is so. I mean, it's one of the best issues, I think, in the series. And then the sort of cliffhanger at the end, when a lot of stuff's going down, is this shot right here.
Yeah.
So sick.
I think that those full spreads are just an awesome way to show that action in those war times. And
but if you are intrigued, it's one of those things as well where there is spin-offs in this series. Not any required reading, but excuse me. So there's other characters which I know I'm not the most well-versed in. Obviously, we've been talking about it, Wolfman. This is his first appearance here on a Free Comic Book Day issue. It's also written by Robert Kirkman. Boop.
Yeah, and I have the second that this cover ends the story, and it's in Collected Astounding Wolfman. So it starts in Invincible and ends in Wolfman.
Mm-hmm. And then another tie-in series or spin-off series of a character in the show is the Brit or just Brit. I got this issue just because Invincible's on the cover. I'll probably go back and get all the other issues. It takes place in the Invincible universe. But,
and Brit came to Invincible series in the Robot War, or I don't remember what was the real name of that fight, but when the robot went bad on the later issues, Brit came in with other superheroes like Tech Jacket or.
Yep, and actually, fun fact: one of the main, I guess, characters in the show is a government man named Cecil, and his first appearance. I mean, he's a huge part of the series. His first appearance is actually in a Brit book. It's like a winter special or something.
Cecil Stedman.
And then another. Yes, and then there's another spin-off 12-issue series. I have the full run here of Invincible Universe with the Guardians of the Globe. That's essentially like the Justice League of the Invincible Universe.
And that Invincible Universe has just been collected also. If you want to have the whole run, you don't have to find the single ones, but I think that in States it should be quite easy to find those also in singles.
Oh yeah. And then if you're a completionist like I am, there's obviously a bunch of other spin-off kind of stuff. There was this, which is the Invincible script book. I think the print count on this is under 5,000. It's or it might be 4. I'm not sure. There's not a lot of these out there. And essentially all it is what it says. It's just, you open it up, it's just character by character, like you're reading a script of everything from the first 6 issues. So It's just one of those things where it's super low print count. This is kind of cool to have. And then they also have these. I'm sure a lot of people have seen stuff like this for Marvel. Universe. This is A to K. I don't have the rest of the one, but it basically it's kind of like those Marvel encyclopedias. They kind of just have every character and a little bit about them. That's essentially what these were.
Didn't know that one existed.
Yep, and then there's also this, which I'm not entirely sure what even is in this issue. Honestly, I'll open it up. It's Invincible Primer. Let me take a look here. I'm not entirely sure what's even in this book. It's one of those things where I saw it was, as being a completionist, I just had to have it. But which it has issue 50 back.
Nice one.
So let me take a look at what's in here.
So when you're looking at it, can you tell me what are your favorite villains in the Invincible series? What are like top 5, top 3 villains?
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, this it's I think it might be it's an intro to the Invincible universe. Just real quick. So it gives bios on Invincible, Brit, and Wolfman, and then it has the first issue of Invincible in here. Yeah, the entire first issue of Invincible, the first issue of Brit, and I think the first issue of Wolfman. Yeah, there's all 3 first issues in here. I never knew that. Well, yeah. Well,
that's nice. About that. That's nice.
But favorite villains. Well, some characters don't stay villains, which makes it a little complicated. But I would guess top 3. Number 1, I got to do it this way just so I can think about it. Number 1 is definitely Thrag for me. I think he is it's just such a cool villain. I mean, he's the epitome of just what strength is, raw strength is in this universe where there's so much outlandish gore and stuff going on. So Emperor Thrag, which his first appearance I actually have right here, which is another kind of, not really a spin-off. I have 2 of them, one signed. So his first appearance, Emperor Thrag. Number 2, I would have to say probably Conquest. Just like in terms of like having an arch villain, his arch nemesis, the first one that Mark really has is Angstrom Levy.
Yeah.
But I feel like Conquest is his first appearance. Is just, I mean, I feel like this is like the quintessential villain for him. Because if I'm not mistaken, this might be the first person he actually kills.
Yeah.
Conquest.
It is, I think that, or in the comics.
Yeah, I think the comics is like the actual first person he kills.
Yeah.
Because this series is full of fake out deaths, like a lot of fake out deaths. So he's probably number 2. And then I'm stuck between Dinosaurus and Angstrom Levy for number 3.
Okay.
Like, for example, like characters that I don't count as villains is Omni-Man. I mean, he is for a small, not in a majority of the series. And a character like Battle Beast, for example, like he's one of my top 5 characters. But I mean, he's not really a villain. I mean,
no, he just loves battles.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a character. He would be on either side. I mean, it's just whether side gets the biggest challenge for a fight, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, I guess, I would have to give it to Dinosaurus. Just it's the concept of his character is also kind of funny. I mean, whenever he gets bored, he transforms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this whole concept, he's a normal guy, but like when the Hulk gets angry, he transforms into where he loses his intellect and he's a big strong monster. Whereas this guy, whenever he gets bored, he transforms into a red Tyrannosaurus Rex, but his IQ like quadruples and he's insanely smart. So, so this kind of character when he's not in dinosaur form is like constantly watching TV, getting immediate dopamine hits as much as he can to kind of not transform. So, and it's just kind of fun. There's a lot more going on with him and Mark that I feel like Angstrom just flat out does not like Mark, straight villain, hates him. Whereas Dinosaurus really kind of makes Mark do a lot of things he wish he didn't do, which I think is a really cool part to be a villain.
Yeah, and you can almost say that Mark and Dinosaurus are friends.
Yeah, that's why I think one of the cool parts about it is that it's there's not a lot of times in the series where, actually, now that I say all this, I might have a different answer. There's only a couple times in the series where a character is really starts off as a friend of the quote unquote good guys and then turns bad. Dinosaurus is one, and I kind of just remember the second one, which is kind of like the very end of the series and throughout. Which now I think about it, I don't really count him as a villain either. He was kind of justified on some stuff. So
okay.
So I'd have to drop Angstrom down. I'll put I don't want to spoil that, but I know you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. So my 3, I would have to say that my first pick is Conquest. I absolutely love that character. He's just everything that Viltrumite Empire stands for. I think that Thrak, he's the big bad, he's the ruler and that kind of stuff, but Conquest, he's the hammer for the whole empire.
Yeah, I really like that analogy. He is the quintessential Viltrumite because he's also the oldest Viltrumite.
Yeah, and that's the reason why he is the hammer of the Viltrumite, because he is the oldest. He has done stuff and went through so many. I have to say genocides that he just is.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts in the series is when he shows up to Earth, and then after a little bit of skirmishing, he says, "Do you know why they sent me?" He's like, "I have never failed to assimilate a planet." Like he's the only Viltrumite that's never failed to assimilate a planet. And whenever he says that, like the tone changes completely, and it is so cool.
Yeah, and now that you said that some characters start as villains, but they are not villains in the end. I still consider this one a villain, although there are some good stuff he or she does, but I think I have to say Anissa. I just love that character as a villain.
Yeah,
Okay.
with this, I mean, the stuff that she does, I mean, it puts her in a kind of a different category of villain.
Yeah.
Because I feel like once people see what she does in the show, she will be quintessential. Like everybody will hate her, which
Yeah.
I think. I mean, just in general, when it comes to storytelling,
Yeah.
you can tell how good a character is written if, like, how bad you hate them. Like, if you really hate a character, most of the time, it's usually because they're written that way and it's written very well. A great example to like of that would be King Joffrey in Game of Thrones. If anyone,
yeah. My only fear for Anissa is that if and when that episode comes out in the series, the current climate in the world is that I don't know how all the other people that just watch the show react to that, because I don't know, it's going to be a fearful day when that comes out.
Yeah, Richard, I was one of them. But I feel like I had to mature to realize I'm like, I don't hate him. He was just written that well in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what makes that issue so powerful is the fact that it's usually when people think of that act, they usually think of it reverse, where it's the man performing the act, not the woman. So I think that's what makes that issue so important. Because there's, I mean, one of the more famous issues that this happens in is the Nightwing issue, I think, in DC.
Yeah, I think that 90 or 92, I think. I'm not sure. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah, because that's a very critically acclaimed comic book as well. So
yeah, and it's a great story in Nightwing. Or not great, but good. How can you say it? But yeah, it's a great book. My third one, I have to say, the Mauler twins.
Oh yeah,
they are awesome. They are just. So some days they are good. Some days they are bad, and some days they are the price that you are willing to pay them.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so funny with them. That there's always involved somehow in the story.
Yeah.
And it could be some very minor part, but after they play their role, it has such big consequences from what they do. So,
and I think that one thing that I love about Invincible is that not all the villains are incarcerated or killed like the Mauler twins. They are always there, or at least one of those twins are.
Yeah, because there's a lot of fake out deaths in the series, but it's one of those things where I think they write characters they like so much they don't want to see them go, and they kind of want to see how they fit into the universe later on when a lot of stuff happens, which I think is really neat. But obviously, I mean, a series like this with so much core, some people got to go, and a lot of people go.
Yeah, and one thing about Invincible and the whole universe is that I like that they had an idea about the universe and the happenings and everything, and there was always an idea to end everything, because they didn't drag it out too long. And I think that the whole series in Invincible or in the universe, it was like solid from the start to finish. There was like you said, a couple of slow burners or bad books, but the whole of it was great.
Yeah, because well, I mean, my favorite part in the entire, I mean, probably debatably, there's a lot of great parts. But I would say probably in my top 3 favorite, I mean, kind of panels or issues, is in the end where it's the inverse of what will you have after 500 years. And then the last issue, I think, is titled, or the last part is 500 years later or something like that. It's just super cool how they wrap, even from the beginning, they knew they're going to wrap around all the way to the end.
Richard is asking a very good question, because have to think about this. Could this story have been written in DC universe using DC characters? I would say that, yeah, it could have been written in DC universe, but I also think that if DC had done this, they would have dragged it too long.
Yeah. So a lot of characters are obviously, so I believe the series, it's basically an entire, it's a satire on the entire concept of superheroes in general. Because I mean, this series hits everything from time travel, everything from time travel to multiverse to galactic empires. So I mean, even like there's a ton of characters that are very reminiscent of other stuff. I guess you could, obviously there's a lot of comparisons here, because I mean, a lot of things that they got criticized whenever it first came out was, oh, another bad Superman. Because right when this came out, right after The Boys, everyone's like, oh, Aquaman's another bad Superman. But the way his character progresses, it's not really like that. He plays a lot of different roles. His character progression, I think, is probably one of the best, if not the best, in the entire story, beginning, middle to end. But I think, though, if they would have made this in the DC universe, it would have been a lot tougher, just because Robert Kirkman does so well in world building that he establishes a lot of stuff that make it different, makes it its own unique thing.
And if you think about the Guardians of the Globe, just before Omni-Man kills them, if it would have been in DC, that thing wouldn't have happened, because I think that DC would have thought that if they kill the big superhero group, everybody's going to hate it. But
I mean, they had tested that out before with Injustice, right? So I mean, you see what bad Superman would do. Whereas in this series, I mean, they flat out just kill the entire quote unquote Justice League, and that's, if you watch the show, a minor spoiler. I mean, that's the first episode. They off the rip show the entire Guardians of the Globe is getting absolutely massacred.
So
there's obviously a lot of, like, similar characters, that you see, but I think it would be rather hard to do it if they tried.
Yeah, and if they would do it now, I think that it would be seen that, okay, the show is doing well, so they have to try to get some more money to DC.
Yeah, because this is kind of a minor segue, Richard, because I saw you on Ricky's stream the other day, which, well, I had to watch on the rewind. But it was what you don't like about the comic book, community, or something you have an issue with. And I thought, my first thought was, obviously people don't like, there's a lot of stories people don't like with the main big two. And my thought process is, if you're a writer, or mainly a writer, and you think an amazing story to tell, are you more likely to give this idea to a Marvel or a DC where they will then own it? Or would you rather go write your own independent series at Image or Black or Dark Horse or wherever? So I feel like just as a side note from whatever you said the other day and the kind of topics that come up, I think a lot of the good stories nowadays we will be seeing in, its own universe, private publishers. Yeah, I like your rant, don't, Richard, because I feel the same way. I feel like whenever I first got back into comic books, I went to a comic shop, started picking up Amazing Spider-Man. I did not like Zeb Wells' run. I don't like it. There's a lot of books I was picking up. I'm like, I really don't like this stuff. And then eventually you meet more comic book people and they tell you where to go. And then you kind of realized. And another example of that, just last bit on this. If you have a really good story, Alan Moore, for example, with Watchmen, he wanted to use the Charlton characters that DC first acquired, and they wouldn't let him do it. And, he didn't want to assimilate to that. He's going to write his really good stories, so he made up his own characters. So I feel like unless it's a up-and-coming writer or a new guy coming up, I don't think we're going to see a lot of landmark stuff coming from the main publishers. But
and now the next question.
Yeah.
Is this a missed opportunity from DC? I think that it is, but I also think that
I feel like they can't do it.
And they
already. I mean, I feel like with Injustice, they kind of already went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, as you said it, they already did Injustice, and I think that they did it because of the Invincible and the stories done in Invincible.
Yeah, because I feel like this is one of those stories where you really there's like general themes that you could recreate, like the Earth's strongest hero has a son who the son then it's a coming of age story, quote unquote. Because I mean that's kind of like the general synopsis of the story is. Dad has the son that becomes the main character. He has issues with the dad. The dad goes through his own character arc. The son goes through obviously his character arc, and there's a bunch of characters that come in between. Because I mean, essentially, the entire story, very briefly, is the story of Mark Grayson and how he navigates the universe and everything it can possibly throw at him. Obviously, his name is a joke. Him being invincible because the entire series, all he does is get his ass kicked. I mean, very few times does Mark actually win.
If you are going into Invincible and thinking that he's going to basically be like One Punch Man, that's not the thing, because I think that he's learning to be the best person he can be, although he gets his ass kicked all the time.
Mm-hmm. And I think what really highlights that a lot is when his younger brother comes into the story.
Yeah.
This is his first appearance, Invincible number 26. Because what his brother is a lot like, I don't want to say it's like if his brother was more like his dad, but I mean, that's really what he is. He makes a lot more rash decisions. He really doesn't grasp the concept of humanity, because that's the big thing with Mark, is that just like Superman, what makes him different from all the other Kryptonians is that he understands humanity, which that's kind of Mark's whole thing. He has that piece of humanity in him since he's half human, whereas his brother is he's more like his dad. And he makes a lot more rash decisions, and he makes a lot of bad decisions that you get to see his character have to deal with and such. And he really plays well off of him. I mean, I would say my top characters in the show and then in the series, one is Mark, and probably two, I would probably say is Oliver, his brother, just because a lot of the story, the way he inserts himself, and a lot of storylines and stuff that happens in the story is really based around decisions that he makes, and everyone have to kind of bounce off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of major points revolve around him and his decision making, and him being so rash.
That's one thing I'm waiting in the series, that Oliver grows up and joins Mark, and we can see those decisions that he makes and how it goes and what does it mean to Mark and everyone else.
Yeah, because I mean, we've already been ripping the spoilers, but one very obviously main thing that was
full of a lot of
spoilers. Yeah, is that Mark obviously he doesn't want to kill because he thinks that'll make him like his dad, which obviously his dad, Omni-Man, kills a lot of people.
Yeah.
And one of the first times that he superhero stuff, he just flat out kills a guy or attempts to. And that whole concept, they just cannot get him to click on is killing the bad was bad. Which is a really cool concept. The son is two parts alien, not really any parts Earthling. So it's a really cool dynamic. There's a lot of cool dynamics between a lot of different characters, different ideologies and stuff that bank off each other. That was really neat.
But one thing we haven't talked about yet, we have talked about Invincible, villains, other heroes, his brother, but we haven't talked about the big love of Invincible.
Oh, yeah, of course. Adam Eve, which is a massive part of the story. There are some parts where she's kind of just there. She's I'm trying to think whose powers I would relate hers to.
I've always thought her as some kind of Jean Grey variant.
Yeah, I would say a little bit of that, but she kind of has like the powers of I'm trying to really think. I really can't. Kind of like it's like a little bit of everything. She's a little bit of like Molecule Man in her because she can. Her name is Atom, like the atom.
Yeah, he can transform atoms, and it's like he's Molecule Man. He's like Firestorm, Jean Grey, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where she is extremely like. I personally think she's the strongest person in the entire series. I mean, I think a lot of people can make that debate. She's the strongest in the entire series, so they kind of have to keep her on the back burner to kind of limit her.
Yeah. But in the comics, you can when I first saw that comic or read it when she died, and everyone was talking to what? Oh my God, Eve died, and they just got together, and then the next episode she can like reawaken herself, or I don't know. It's like immortal. I don't know what that's she can.
It's issue number. It's
rise
63 and 64. Yeah, it's 63 and 64 that happens. But
so,
I think I have just a couple more issues here to showcase for those that are out hunting to be on the lookout for that
like me
don't get a lot of love. So this is number 23. I think this is the first cover with Alan on it, but it's also it's the first appearance of the leader of the galactic whatchamacallit. I forgot what it's called.
It's Coalition of Planets, the leader.
Yeah, the Coalition of Planets. Yeah, it's the leader of that's first appearance. Obviously, we talked about this one, 68, first dinosaur.
Yeah, that's an awesome cover.
One of a character we also haven't talked about yet is Universa, issue number 69. Yeah. So definitely be on the lookout for that book. It's one of the pricier ones. I already showcased this one, but number 44.
I just love that cover.
And obviously, this is probably in the later series. This is the most expensive issue you can find because of the controversy behind it. This is issue 110. I would always be on the lookout for that. And obviously, some of the better covers that I've shown, like this one. And then I also have some slabs back here. This pink cover is the first Angstrom Levy. That's a commissioned artwork from Ryan Ottley. It's like my favorite comic book ever. And then you'll see a lot of these Invincible number ones. It's behind this little plant here, but they have foil. Not an expensive book at all, but I think it's one of the cool ones you can get. The pose from the first issue and the background is issues like 1 through 50. Like it's grayed out of all the first 50 covers. Like it's a 25th anniversary issue, I believe. I think the one I have is like a local comic shop day edition, but it's one of the covers. It's probably around like $20.
Okay, so that should be quite easy. Yusa, Hayden, great show, got to move. Well, Richard, thank you, Richard.
Yes, Richard, you've been great. I always see you in everybody's streams. You're I nominated you for the Comic Book Immunity Award winner support category. I'm not sure what it was actually called, but I tossed your name in there. So I'm sure a lot of people other did who filled it out. So I was hoping we can get you that award for like biggest supporter. But I'm not sure I have much else. I don't know if you do. I think I've ranted enough.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Oh, I was saying I'm not sure what more you have. I feel like I've ranted as much as I can rant. I can always talk more, but I'm not sure if you had any other topics you wanted to run through.
So I think that we have covered this quite well. I think that we were talking about that. We shouldn't be talking too much spoilers, but I think that this whole
this
whole
it's
life is full of
when you
spoilers.
talk about a series like that.
But I think that we've covered the series and the differences and the happenings and situations that are same in the series and comics quite well. Mm-hmm. And I think that if there's not any more questions from anyone, I think that we can enjoy the comics and end for this live.
Yeah. Well, did you have anything on the docket? I guess any last minute shout outs of stuff you have coming up, or any videos, content for people to find?
I did one today. I haven't done a video like 3 weeks. I only have been in Brandon's Big Mon live with you like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah. But today I made a video about something is killing the children.
Oh, okay.
And it's coming out on was it Tuesday? Yeah, I think that I put it that it will be out on Tuesday, and I will be going through those. I have the deluxe editions of that series, so I will be going through them.
Gotcha.
Well, so what's your next one?
Yep. So on my end, I'm still keeping up with a video every Monday at 10 a.m. I filmed one entire video and I really didn't like it a couple days ago, so I'm probably going to redo that one. So I filmed another one yesterday that I have to edit for tomorrow. So another video tomorrow. It is about another series that is becoming my favorite series of all time. Toss a little sneak peek right here. So it's a video briefly kind of going over some pickups I have related to that. The week after that, I got some pretty big Amazing Spider-Man pickups that I'm going to collage together. Shout out a couple sellers that kind of helped me get there. And then hopefully I will get that one video I got to re-record up in the next coming weeks. And that'll take us till, I believe, the end of June. And then big part of July, I'll try to record some videos because I'll be gone for a month. Will not have access to stuff, which I'll touch on that a little bit more in some later videos.
Okay. And I have to say that, of course, I will be doing a video when your shipment arrives, and I will be unboxing those Invincibles. And let's see what I'm not sure what the numbers were, but let's see when they came.
There were some good ones. I can promise you that.
Okay.
But
nice.
Right. Well, that does it for us, everybody. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. If you're watching on the re-record or the aftermath, because it'll be on both of our channels where you guys can rewatch it at your leisure. We appreciate you guys doing that. Yep. Drop more comments if you're catching on the rewatch. We'll respond to as many as we can. I'm sure we can respond to all of them. But yeah, that does it from us. Like, comment, subscribe on both of our channels. Check us out on Instagram. DM us if you want to talk more comics. But I think that does it for us.
So thank you, everyone. And as Hayden said, hit all those buttons and do everything that you're supposed to do. So yeah, thank you.